This video is all about tracking covered call strategy. So if you're new to Option and you want to learn about covered call strategy, I have linked the video on the top right corner, which explain how to trade covered call with some live example. So feel free to check it out. I have been trading covered calls for a while now, and I used to track covered calls using Spreadsheet, but I have moved on to the online service now. So in this video, first I will show you how you can track covered calls using Spreadsheet, and later in this video, I will show you an online service for tracking covered calls. Let's look at the spreadsheet and understand how it is structured. So this spreadsheet is structured into three main sections: portfolio, P&L, and sample sheet. Now, we will be using single spreadsheet to track all our covered call. What we will be doing is create a duplicate sample sheet and use that one to track each symbol. So if you want to track Apple, you will simply duplicate the sample sheet, rename it to Apple, and enter all your Apple related transaction in that sheet. So we will have a separate sheet for each ticker. Now let's understand how the sample sheet is structured. In the sample sheet, we have different sections with different colors. So you will be editing or changing data only within the green sections. Now this sheet is divided into four sections. The first section consists of column A, B, and C. So that section is for stock transaction. That means if you sell or buy any stock, you will enter those transactions over here. So section number 2 has the covered call performance data. Section number 3 is for all your call selling and buying transaction. So when you sell any call, you will enter the transaction over here. When you buy them back, you will update that transaction over here. The fourth section will be used to reset the P&L, just in case if you want to use the same sheet for new transaction. So we can reset the P&L and start using same sheet for new transactions. You will understand more as we go through data entry process. So let's enter some data. I have 200 stocks of Clover Health, and we sold two different call, one expiring on August 20 with $9 strike, and the second one is expiring on September 3rd with the strike of $9. So let's enter that data. So what I will do is, first I will make a copy of the sample sheet. So we'll just right click, make a duplicate of it. Now rename this duplicate sheet. So we'll rename it to whatever ticker symbol that we want to track. So we want to track Clover right now. So I will rename it to Clover. So CLOV, that's the symbol for Clover Health. Now I will change the ticker symbol on section 2. So we'll change it. So we will change it to Clover. And it will update the pricing automatically. Now the next step is to add our stock buying transaction. So we have 200 shares, price is $8.03. So as you can see, our total invested amount is now $1,606. Our average cost is $8.03. Now I will add my covered call transaction. So we did one contract expiring on August 20. Strike was $9. We received $36 premium. Now we will enter the total premium we received, not per share. So for this transaction, we received 36 cents per share. So total was $36. Let's add one more transaction. One contract expiring on September 3rd, 21, $9 strike, and we received $61 from that. So as you can see, our total recovered amount is $97, which is 6% of our investment. So we recovered 6% from our $1,606 investment. Our adjusted cost is now $7.55, because since we received premium by selling covered call, our adjusted cost basis is reduced from $8.03 to $7.55. So now the next step is to link this sheet to portfolio sheet. So let's go to portfolio. Now as you can see, the portfolio sheet has one line already for sample data. Now this line has all the functions that we need and all the formulas there. So don't remove this line or don't edit this line. Simply copy that line. So what we will do is I will select from column A to column N and row number 4, and I will just drag it at the bottom, and that will make a copy of it. So now we have a copy of sample data. So what I need to do now is simply change the ticker from sample to Clover. So I'll change to Clove, and it will automatically pull all the data from our Clover sheet. So now our portfolio sheet is linked with Clover. So if we make any changes to Clover sheet, it will automatically reflect on the portfolio page. So if we go back and let's say we bought this option back for $10. So our call buy premium is $10. So now our profit was $26 on this call, and our adjusted cost is $7.60. So if we go to portfolio page, you can see that our adjusted cost is $7.60, recovered percentage is 5.42, and the gain is $87. So now let's make one more transaction. So this time we will do an Apple covered call. So I will duplicate the sample sheet. I will rename it to Apple. And now we already have Apple over here, so we don't need to change that into section 2. So now we have 100 shares of Apple. We bought them at $135. So our total investment is $13,500. And we sold one call expiring on August 2021. The strike was $150. And the premium we received was $170. So now as you can see, our adjusted cost has been reduced to $133.30 because we received $170 credit. Total return on our investment is 1.26% right now. So let's go back to portfolio page. And what I will do is I will just copy the last line and just drag it down here. And I will change from Clover to Apple. And as you can see, all the transaction data from Apple sheet has been pulled into portfolio sheet. So let's add one more. I will create a duplicate copy. And I will rename it to Microsoft. Now we bought 100 shares of Microsoft at $260. And we sold one covered call expiring on August 17, 21. The strike was $280. For that we received $290. So our adjusted cost now is $257.10. So let's go back to portfolio page and link that information here. And let's just change to Microsoft. And as soon as we change to Microsoft, all the data from Microsoft get pulled into the sheet. So all you need to do is create a new sheet and keep entering the data. And you need to link each sheet just once. So the portfolio page, you will add it only when you're adding new ticker. So if you are just working with your existing ticker, you don't really need to link them because it's already linked. Okay, so now let's go to Pnl sheet. So the Pnl sheet has the same data that we have on the portfolio sheet. So it's the same exact data. The only difference is the Pnl sheet, we can sort it. So we can sort them by ticker, by the total invested amount, number of shares, or we can sort them by these column numbers. You can see the row number 3 has different numbers. So each number is different column. And if you look at the row number 4, column A and B, so what column A is, it's the which column we want to use for sorting. So right now it's number 2. That means all the data is sorted by ticker because that's column number 2. And the order of sorting, it's A for ascending, D for descending. So if you change it to D, it will reverse the order. So let's sort them by number of stocks. So number of stocks, we have it on column number 5. So I will simply change the number 2 to 5. And as you can see, the data has been sorted by number of shares. Now you can also sort them by recovered percentage, loss and gain, or your total investment amount. So if we go by total investment amount, that's column number 4. So I will switch to column number 4 and it will sort that data based on the column number 4. So let's say if we go to Apple and our covered call got assigned at $150, right? So what happened in that case is we sold our shares to the buyer at $150. So what I will do is I will add the transaction here. So negative 100, that means we sold them and the price was $150. So now as you can see, shares on hand are 0. Now you can see the shares on hand is 0 and our total profit is 1670. Now if we go back to portfolio sheet, you can see there is a blank line here, right? It's not a blank line, but all the data is blank because we don't have any active covered call for this ticker. All we have is the settled gain, which is 1670. Now think about it. Let's say if you have 50 different rows and half of them are empty, then it will be hard for you to find or hard for you to short them. That's why we have Pnl Sheet where you can short the data. So if we short them by total investment, that means any of the covered call that has no active investment will go at the bottom. So basically Pnl Sheet will help you short your data. That's all. Now the next question is, let's say we bought another 100 shares of Apple. Let's say this covered call has been closed completely for a few months and now we bought another shares. Let's say we bought another 100 shares of Apple. So what happens is if you keep adding into existing sheet, it will start calculating from beginning. So let's say we bought another 100 shares at $145, right? So as you can see, our adjusted price is now 128 because what she did is it took all this data into consideration and adjusted price based on that. Now we might not want to do that because that covered call has been closed for a few months. That means we need to start tracking again, or we need to start tracking from 0. So what we can do in that case is there are two options here. One, we can reset this Apple sheet, or the second option is we can create another sheet for Apple. So let's look at both approaches. First, what I will do is I will create a duplicate sheet and we will enter new data into new sheet. Okay, so let's undo these changes. Okay, so now we don't have any active investment, no shares on hand. So what I will do is I will duplicate the sample sheet. Now I can rename it to Apple. The problem is we already have sheet under Apple name, so we won't be able to rename with the same name. So what I can do in that case is I can, let's say, simply add a hyphen. Let's say Apple -1. Right, so that means this is one more sheet for Apple. Now I can start adding new transaction here. So let's say 100 stock, $145 price, one call, September 17, 20, strike was 150 and premium received was 250. So now we have two sheets for Apple. This one is already closed, has no active shares on hand, and this one has 100 shares on hand. So we need to link this new sheet to portfolio page. So we'll go back to portfolio page and I'll just simply duplicate the last line. And now I will add Apple, change it to Apple. Now you see what happened here is when you switch to Apple, it actually pulled data from Apple sheet, not Apple 1. To pull the sheet based on the extension, what we'll do is I will go back to portfolio page and you see column number N. So column N has this extension. So I can simply say look for -1. So in that case, what program will do is it will look for Apple sheet, but that has -1 at the end. That means we get the new data from Apple 1 sheet. This way, we can use same ticker into multiple different sheets. So if we go to Pnl, you can see we have one more Apple row here, and there is a one Apple row over here. And this one has no active investment because number of shares are 0. And this one has 100 shares. And the total Pnl for this one is $250. So that's one approach. The other approach we can use is we can reset the existing sheet. So Now with this one, we know we already made 1670 on this transaction or on this covered call. So what I will do is I will clear all this data, but I will register this profit. That way I don't lose this profit. So what I will do is I will use section 4 for this one. So I will say settled on, that means what day you reset that sheet. So let's say I'm resetting it today. So today is August 15, 21, and we had 100 shares, and the total profit was 1670. And now what I will do is I will reset this to 0. Strike price, I will delete this data, and I will just simply reset this information to 0. So now this sheet has been reset, but we still have total profit here, 1670. So if we go to portfolio page, we still have no active investment, but our profit is still there, 1670. So that way we can continue tracking our profit. So let's go back to Apple, and let's say we bought another 100 shares, $145 price, sold one contract expiring August 17, 21, and the strike was 150. Total premium we received was 250. So now you can see our adjusted price is based on the new price. So we can still track total profit 1670 here, but it doesn't account into adjusting our price. Okay, now let's say we bought this option bag at, let's say, $100. So I will just enter the call buy information over here, $100. And then we sold this 100 shares at $147. Right, so now you can see our current profit is $350. So for the current covered call, our total profit is $350. Our previous covered call had a profit of 1670. So our total profit is 2020. So if we go back to portfolio page, you can still see the same information here. Our total profit is 2020. Now, another good thing about this sheet is you can toggle between different sheets very quickly. So let's say if you have 100 different tickers. So in that case, your bottom row with different sheets will be like huge, and it will be hard to find the sheets that you're looking for. So let's go back to Pnl page. And each Pnl page, we have go-to link set up here. So right next to the ticker. So if you hover or your mouse over go-to, it will create a pop-up, and you can click on that pop-up and it will take you to that sheet. Now from that sheet, you can easily go to Pnl by hovering over to Pnl, and it will take you to Pnl Sheet. From there, you can go to Microsoft. So we go to Microsoft. We can go back to Pnl. We can go to Clover. So this way, it will be easy for you to toggle between sheets, because when you have multiple sheets to work with, it will be hard to find the sheet that you're looking for. And we are going to use just one spreadsheet for all your covered calls. So managing this spreadsheet is really easy. So I will leave the link in the description so you can make a copy of this sheet and start using it. If you have any question about the sheet, you can always leave the comment on this YouTube channel. I will check it out and I will try to address it. Personally, I don't use the spreadsheet anymore. The reason being is because it's hard to manage. Plus I have covered call, I have spreads, I have iron condors. So when you have multiple different kind of transaction, or when you're tracking multiple different strategy, it is really hard to maintain multiple spreadsheet. So I moved all my transaction to the online service. So now I track all my transaction through online service. So now let's talk about the online tracking service. So I use Snap Options to track my trade. So let's go to snapoptions.com. Now, first thing we need to do is add the stock purchase transaction. So to do that, I will go to portfolio section. I will click on bought and I will add my transaction. Clover, 200 shares, price $8.03, and click add. So this will add my stock buying transaction. Now let's go to home page, and we can see that our portfolio chart got updated. So now let's go back to Clover page. On this page, we can see that we have 200 shares. Our average cost is $8.03. Now this page has multiple sections based on the strategy. So to open covered call, I will click on Open Covered Call button. That will take me to the transaction entry page. Over here, I will select the expiration date, strike price, and the credit I received per share, and click Submit. Let's click on Open Covered Call again to add one more transaction. I will choose the expiration date, strike, enter the credit amount, and click Submit. Now you can see that the covered call section of this page has been updated. Our total recovered amount is $97. Adjusted cost is $7.55. And if you look at the holding box, you can see that now we have 200 shares as a collateral. So to see the all covered calls for this ticker, click on View Covered Call. That will take you to the covered call detail page. Now as you can see, we have two open covered call. Our average cost is $8.03. Average strike is $9. You can also see the recovered amount, recovered percentage, and the adjusted cost price per covered call. So now let's go to the home page, and you can see in the chart that we received $97 premium for this month. So you can also go to covered call tab. That will have all your covered call for all the tickers. To manage any particular covered call, you will click on detail. So let's say if you want to manage the first covered call, so I will click on detail. So that will take me to the detail page for this covered call. So as you can see now, this is my holding information. This is my covered call information. And if you scroll it down, you can see this particular covered call detail. So we started that one on August 5th. Number of contract 1. Average cost per share was $8.03. Average strike was $9. So our total invested dollar was $803. We recovered $36, which is 4.48% of the investment. And our adjusted cost for this covered call is $7.60. When you have multiple covered call, you have multiple adjusted cost basis per covered call. But if you want to see the combined cost basis for your stock, you can go to your covered call box right here, and this will show you your actual adjusted cost per share based on all the covered calls combined for Clover. If you scroll down at the bottom, you can see we have one open contract, $9 strike, August 20 expiration date, 7 days left. We received 36-cent credit per share. So total value for this contract was $36. Fees we paid was $0. So you can adjust your fees under your portfolio section when you go to the setting. Now, to manage this covered call, we can click on the action. We have 3 dots under the action. You can click on that. Now we can take multiple actions here. Either we can close this contract, or we can roll it to the next day. Or if the contract got assigned, we can mark as assigned. Now, if you made a mistake while entering the information, you can also do the edit contract, and the delete contract will delete this transaction. So now let's say we want to roll this transaction to next expiration date. So I'll just click on roll. Now when we roll this transaction, as you can see, we are buying back the August 20 call and we are selling the next call. Now you can also choose the date, whatever date you chose. Let's say if we roll to September 10th, you can choose September 10th and whatever credit you receive. Let's say we received 30 cents. So I'll click on I will enter 30 cents, hit submit. And now you can see our total recovered amount is $66 because we received $36 earlier. For this one, we received $36 here for the first transaction. And for the second transaction, we received $30. So the total recovery for this covered call is $66. And our adjusted cost basis is now $7.36. And our main adjusted cost base is $7.40. And our total recovered amount is $127. So $66 from this one and $61 from other call. So if we click on View All Clover Covered Call, it will take us to the covered call detail, and we have 2 covered calls here, and we can see the details here as well. We have this call, we received $66. We have this call, we received $61. So let's go back to overview page. So I'll click on back to overview. This will take me to the Clover page. And as you can see here, we have the trading stats here. And in that one, you can see we received $127 in last 30 days. I can also short by, let's say, last 7 days. And it will show me the detail for last 7 days. So in last 7 days, we received only $30 in covered call. We didn't do any secured put. There is one trade open, so I did one vertical spread, so it's regarding that spread. If you click on wheel report, it will show you your wheel strategy report. So you can see it here. We bought 200 shares, then we sold one call, then we sold one more call, and then we rolled one call, and we can see we received $127 using this strategy. Now when you do secured put, it will also account that here. So basically it will give you your wheel strategy performance. So let's go back to covered call. Now I will create a few more videos about snapoption.com regarding how we can track different kind of strategy. But for covered call, this is it for now. So in this video, we have seen how we can track using Spreadsheet and how we can track covered call online. Snapoption.com is not free, but you can have a trial period. So you can go to snapoption.com and try it out. If you have any question regarding the tracking of covered call, please leave a comment and I'll make sure I respond to those comments. If you'd like to learn more about stock, option, and investing in general, please subscribe to my channel so you will never miss any video that I upload. And I will see you in the next video.